Y'all had a good Shabbat? You had a good Shabbat? You KTC? You KTC, man, now you keeping it cold? You falling back? I know, sometimes it might be hard to rest. Sometimes, it might be an emergency this or this, all that. But, what I'm saying? To keep the cold, it means that you're not trampling the cold. You know what I'm saying? You got children. Sometimes they mess up. Now, if they repetitively are repeating that mistake, that's a problem, right? If you have a code in your house, wash up, after yourselves, you know what I'm saying? Or just something basic, clean up after yourself. And let's say they forget. All right, maybe you don't, maybe you don't get on their head bone too much. You just like, look, man, I ain't want to tell you again. And then they do it again, and they do it again, they do it again. To a point where they don't even care no more. They don't even care. They're just going to disrespectfully leave their stuff all over the house, right? So that's breaking the code. That's trampling the code. You know what I'm saying? Hawaii knows that sometimes our Shabbats might not be on point. Maybe we don't know our times and dates and laws, you know what I'm saying? But we care. We're actively pursuing our Shabbat. We're actively, not putting no hijack before us and our source. You know what I'm saying? We're doing the recon to find out who we are, man. Because that brings me to a very important point. I wrote down a couple points, man. I got a couple points, man. Let me see, man. They told you who you were before you knew who you. They told you who you were before you even knew who you were. Let that sink in for a minute. You digging me, man? They told you who you were before you even started reconning yourself. So whoever you think you are, just know that you know nothing because they told you nothing. Because everything they told you was some bull crap, man. Can you dig it? They say everybody come from Africa. Some out of Africa theory. Not doing our own research as to what land is the oldest land on the earth plane. Not doing our recon into which lands are popping out the primordial waters first. Not all these lands popped up first out the primordial water, man. This is ancient. Ancient America is old world, man. You don't get no more ancient than right here where you're at, but you're not taught that. But until you learn that you're in the most ancient spot, my noggin, that this is motherland territory, South America, motherland territory, connected to all the Lemuria, connected to all the other lands in the California and all the other islands that used to be just landmass, my noggin. When I talk moo, until you realize what vortex you're connected to, you might think you come from Africa. You might think all black people come from Africa. Not all black people come from Africa. See, there are multiple creations, my noggin. And not everyone connects to the same creation story. But my noggin, ain't no hundreds of millions of people that look like us being dropped off here recently, man. They didn't bring everybody over here on boats, man. Ain't no millions of boats carrying tens of millions of Nagas across the Pacific, or the Atlantic, the transatlantic, right? You got to look the other way. You got to look towards that Pacific as your origin, not the Atlantic. And once you start getting your orientation and you start looking towards the Pacific and not the Atlantic, and understanding the connection with the Pacific Rim, understanding what Queen Khalifa, who California is named after, is connected to, she didn't come from Africa. Everybody wants to claim because, they want to claim all melanated people and all melanated things, man. This earth plane is all melanated. Melanin is popping off all over this earth plane, my night. So when they teach you in their books in school, when they're teaching you something before you even have an opportunity to even think about it, to even look into it. The slave trade started here. They found you here and brought you to Spain, brought you to Africa, brought you to these other spots. This is the ancient world. Yeah, my nigga. You in the ancient world. You in the biblical world. You got to really understand what that Grand Canyon is really about. You understand, what that Tenochtitlan is all about. You understand what that Yucatan and them Toltecs was really about. The code they kept when they KTC, my nigga. They keep the code, blue, purple, red, white, linen, gold thread. So, I'm not here to tell you who you are. I'm just here to tell you that, they tried to tell you who you were before you even thought about it. You think all these Nagas, you think all these black folk is coming from Africa? Then how come the African governments aren't suing for reparations or something for all these hundreds of millions of people they lost? Huh? How come ain't nobody saying we lost millions of people? How come the oldest pyramids on Earth are right here in America? Oh, they came from Africa, built the oldest pyramids, and then went back over there. Why is all this Egyptian, mummified bodies being pulled out the Grand Canyon in 1930s by G.E. Kincaid? Oh, they were just left because they were traveling? Nah, my nagi. They were here because this is where Egypt is. They're here because this is where the old world is. So you say, well, what's that? Now you got to surf the wave with a bunch of people that want to create antiquity, that want to create a narrative so that you don't look in the right direction. They spin you around on a ball and they tell you that, the East is East when it's really West. So now you're thinking that you're in the West when you're really in the Far East, my naga. My naga, you're in India Superior, my naga. You're in the Far East right now, man. If you're in America. You're in California, you're in the far, 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 far East. Nah, we didn't just get off some boats, man. We were taken from here on boats. Taken from Virginia, dropped off in Belize. Taken from Haiti, dropped off in Tennessee. You know what I'm saying? Taken from Mexico, dropped off in Spain. You know what I'm saying? So ain't no one saying that no slave trade is happening. We're saying you got to get your orientation right. That's why the definition of an American is a copper color Khan. The copper color race is found here because they just found you here. They didn't bring you here. So myth number one, we all come from Africa. Very little of us here came from Africa. That's the minority. The majority are the Indians that they found here that are connected to Mu, to the Pacific, my naga. Connected with Khalifa, Sheba, Prester John. We're the descendants of King David. Can you dig it? David's right here in America. Genghis Khan came to America to conquer King David. But that's if you're talking 1200s. Point number two. Now you mad at me because I don't trust. Now you mad at us because we don't trust you? Now you mad at me because I don't trust you. All right, let me get this straight. I'm just going off my points, man. They want us to take a tenderoni vaccine. Again, because we know that we're the indigenous, the Indians, right? We done been through this before. We done been through the poison and the trickery. We done been through the necromancy and the spells. But now you mad at me? Because I don't trust you? Where they do that at? What family can you go and terrorize, torture, mutilate, rape, poison, and then go back in that same house and they just welcome you in? Just welcome you in. Just trust you. Say, hey, I baked you some donuts, guys. I'm sorry for poisoning you last time, but eat these tasty donuts. I got them new sprinkler. Shout out to Kwame, man. I got my mama sprinkles on this, man. Shout out to Kwame. Hey, man, get them, dog. Get them, dog. Man, just go ahead, man, and slice and dice. This is the era of slicing and dicing. Now you mad at Kwame because he don't like you? Now you mad at me because I don't trust you with your tenderoni shot? Nah, man, I don't trust you with that stuff, man. You done poisoned and mutilated my people. You didn't change. Hey, give me an example in any historical point of a group of hijacks, a nation of hijacks that just change and become good people. Show me where these niggas change. Show me a group of hijacks that turn good. I'll wait. Show me a nation of people worshiping false idols that suddenly started worshiping the creator only and got KTC. So don't be mad at me because I don't trust you. And don't look at us like we crazy and irresponsible because we are against some mystery shot when this thing has never been tested. We're against things that don't be tested. We're against hijacks that use us as the test. This shit is obvious, but you got to do, you got to go to work. I think you need to work it out. I think you need to work it out, man. You need to work out a master plan to get free, to get KTC. This is your ticket to freedom. You're looking at it, man. Blue, purple, red. That's on the tent of meeting, the Levitical flow. It's time to meet. When the blue and the red meet, you get the crown, my naga. Keep the code. What's the? The is I am. I am is the existing, the Hawa. You bring it together, man. I think you need to work it out, man. Don't get no magic tenderoni shot. You see these people freezing and acting all crazy. Just don't trust it anyway. If you was on the vaccine, if you got the drop before the Nagalase, that separates your GC from your MAF microphage activating factor, if you knew they were trying to deactivate you with the microphage activating factor deactivation in the GC MAF, but I'm just talking Nagalase. See all these doctors disappear that's able to reverse this Nagalase effect? Nagalase, they're lacing the Naga. And this is in all your normal vaccines. Now you want us to trust your super tenderoni shot? Hold on, where's my... Now you mad at me because I don't trust you? Man, you hijack city. We're the originals. We don't need no poison shot. We're the children of Hawaii. When did we need a super shot in history? When did the children of the creator need your super shot, man? You're not our power. We got one power. Our power heals us. Unless you don't believe. Unless you don't believe. Or you claim to be religious, but you don't believe. Well, I think you're choosing your God. I think you're choosing your God. Because if you chose your real power, you will believe in the healing power of your power. Instead, you need the magic tenderoni shot, man. Because you need to get your paper money and your imaginary currency, man. I want my things back. I want my stuff, which leads me to my third point. You don't want reparations. You want your things back, man. You're not a slave, man. We're not slaves. We were never slaves. We're prisoners of war. We're prisoners of war. We are the Chickamauga. We are prisoners of war. We are not your homeborn slaves. You ain't gonna make us homeborn slaves. We KTC. We keep the code. We're code keepers. You don't want reparations, my naga. That's for slaves. You don't want a bunch of their paper money because they're sorry. Screw these people, man. You want your stuff back. And that's when you really KTC. That's when you're ready to get your things back. To imagine a world without the hijack, that's reality. Don't think it's mythology. The hijack is temporary. You're permanent, man. We KTC, you know what I'm saying, permanently. Everything they've done is a temporary, you know what I'm saying, slow down, you know what I'm saying? But just like they could cut a tree, but the tree's still rooted, the tree gonna grow back, man. You growing back right now. You taking root, you taking shape, you taking form, you're being framed and shaped. Halal, Hawa. When we say Hawa, when we give honor to our framer and our shaper, our Amma and our Abba, that's not bringing in no female deity that doesn't already exist, my naga. You can't call on this mama. Mama's already there. You can't summon this female deity. She's there from the beginning. She pleases Hawa. This is your breath. You can't call on your breath. It's your breath. You already got it. Unless you don't. My naga. Hawa, your breath is already there. It is your ruah. Unless you ain't got none. So we give honor to our Ama and our Abba, our framer shaper. She who takes those ingredients and makes a meal, and he who shapes us, forms us, molds us. We KTC. Wow.